Am I the asshole for buying my cousin's dream car to prove a point? I, 26-year-old female, work a corporate job at a major fast food chain. I won't say the exact title, but I don't work at an office and spend most of my time visiting and coaching stores and associates. Because of this, my family seems to be under the impression that my job is a loser job, despite me making well over $150,000 a year. I think this perception is exasperated by the fact that I'm a frugal person who doesn't tend to surround myself with expensive things. My cousin, 34-year-old male, is a physics professor at a nearby state university and has done very little to hide the fact that he looks down on my job. From what I understand, we make similar money, but he's still paying off his doctorate degree. I didn't go to college. He has a much bigger house and mortgage and 2 kids. I'm child-free, meaning I have much more disposable income than him. For nearly 2 years, he's been talking about how he really wants a Tesla Model X and how he's slowly saving money for it. He'll joke about how much he wants it by describing how he sees it in his dreams in exquisite detail. Well,
Am I the asshole for refusing to apologize to my mother-in-law after she saw me wearing underwear? This happened yesterday morning at 9 in the morning. I, female 33, was in the kitchen eating breakfast wearing my regular underwear. Suddenly, I heard gasping sounds coming towards me. I turned and saw my mother and sister-in-law yelling about what I was wearing. I was in utter shock and just froze in my seat. My husband was asleep at the time and he must have heard his mom and sister scream because he ran downstairs and asked what's going on. His mom started ranting loudly about what an inappropriate scene she and her daughter saw. I'm still sitting in shock when my husband started yelling at me to go put something on quickly. I went upstairs and his mom called me shameless and inappropriate, and I heard my husband say it won't happen again. I was so mad I put a coat on and went downstairs and started arguing with my mother-in-law. I told her she shouldn't have come over without notice, but turns out my husband told her to come over at 9 to discuss a family crisis. My mother-in-law said I was in the wrong for walking around half naked knowing she has a key and might show up any minute. I told her it's my home and she said it's her son's home too. We argued and my husband told me to knock it off and apologize, but I refused and went back upstairs. Then after his mom and sister left, he called me childish and inappropriate. And that he told his mom I'll apologize, but I'm not.
Our bedroom has 2 locks, the regular key lock and the barrel bolt. We had an unexpected and unwelcome late night guest, which is my husband's friend. I wanted to kick him out, but my husband said he needed to speak to him for 5 minutes about something important. I told him to talk elsewhere and not inside of the house, but he kept insisting it would only be 5 minutes. He then asked me to wait in our room and I said no and I was going to ask the friend to leave. But my husband ended up locking me inside. Am I the asshole for locking our bedroom from the inside after my husband locked me in from the outside? I was angry and told him to let me out, but he left after telling me he would only be 5 minutes. He never came back after 5 minutes and I was getting angrier every second. Over an hour later, I decided to go to sleep and lock the door with the barrel bolt. I fell asleep before he came back, and when he did, he was knocking and telling me to open the door. I did wake up, but I ignored him. He knows I'm a light sleeper, so in the morning we had a fight over it. He was angry since I ruined his usual routine and he had to wait over 2 hours for me to wake up and unlock the door. Am I the asshole?
Today's my niece's birthday and she just went to college, so I thought I'd get her a laptop for her birthday. Now, I'm a student myself, but I still want to give her something special, so I searched for a great used laptop and I found a decent Toshiba. I sold my PSP and some other things so I can afford it. So there we were at the dinner table opening presents, and she opened mine and had this grim look on her face. This is it? I thought you'd buy me a brand new one. No, I can't afford it. It's the best I can do. Well, I want a brand new one, not this. This sucks. Worst present ever. She then shoved the laptop and box across the table and it fell on the floor. I picked it up and walked out, and my cousin tried to stop me, but I just said I would never give her anything ever again.
Am I the asshole for refusing to be my best friend's maid of honor after she told me my fiancé's not invited to the wedding? I've been dating my fiancé for 10 years and we're expecting a baby due in March. Best friend is getting married in a month and she's been with their fiancé for a year and they got engaged within 6 months. It's rushed in my opinion, but that's her decision. They got engaged around April and she asked me to be her maid of honor. She's planning on having a huge celebration with 200 plus guests. Naturally, I assume my fiancé would be invited. My best friend has known him for 10 years and they're friendly. Also, most of our friends are married, so their spouses get an automatic invite. During a chat, I brought up my husband's suit and she said, but I never told you he was invited. Said only married and long-term couples. Am I the asshole for uninviting one of my bridesmaids because she'd wear black to the wedding? My wedding is in less than a month and everything is ready. My bridesmaids will wear a royal blue color on their dresses. One of my bridesmaids is a coworker of mine and I picked her as a bridesmaid because she's the closest coworker I have. I don't have many friends except for 2 close ones and I have 4 bridesmaids in total. My coworker, my 2 friends, and my sister. My older sister is the maid of honor. Anyways, my coworker has a different culture and she moved into my country 3 years ago. She lost her grandpa 1 week ago, and in their culture, the mourning period lasts for 40 days. My wedding will be before the 40 days, and culturally, my coworker claims she has to wear black.
Am I the asshole for refusing to be my best friend's maid of honor after she told me my fiance is not invited to the wedding? I reminded her I'm engaged to that man, we're expecting a kid together, and I've been with him for 10 years. Also that we're planning to get eloped in a few months. She said she doesn't see our relationship as valid as it took us 10 years to make our relationship legal, and that our relationship is probably not that strong. I told her that's not her decision to make and that she doesn't get to decide whether my relationship is valid or not. She said we may break up so she doesn't want an ex in her photos. I told her she's being ridiculous with her bizarre beliefs and reminded her that I've been with my man for 10 years while she's been with hers for less than 1 year. I told her I'm dropping the maid of honor role because I refuse to be disrespected.
Well, several months back while we were at my aunt's birthday party, my cousin made yet another backhanded joke about when I get a real job and make real money, and it was like the straw that broke the camel's back. I was so beyond done. I went back home immediately after the party and ordered a Tesla Model X for myself, exactly to the specifications he has described. So, a couple of weeks ago, I picked up my car and brought it home. I didn't tell a single soul in my family I bought it. But yesterday, I had plans to pick up my cousin's older son to babysit, and I knew it was finally time. I rolled up to my cousin's house in my shiny new Tesla that I washed and polished just that morning specifically for this meetup. Needless to say, cousin was pissed. He asked me all about it with strained enthusiasm and got visibly more angry the more he noticed it was just like the one he wanted. So, in what I would assume was retaliation, he tried to make a comment about, wow, it must have been an adventure and a half to find a bank willing to give you a loan like this. I laughed him off and casually told him I wouldn't know since I paid in cash, which is true.
Am I the asshole for calling my friend an idiot for wanting a maternity test? My friend Dan recently found out he might be a father. I say might because the girl he's been having an on and off relationship with, Cara, is pregnant. She offered to get a paternity test once the baby's born and doesn't expect any kind of support until they find out if the baby's his. He's on board with that and appreciates that she's not pushing him into fatherhood if the baby isn't his. The issue is that he says he wants to get a maternity test to see if the baby is hers. Cara is visibly pregnant. We know she's pregnant because she did a maternity photo shoot and posted it on social media. We've also seen her in person. Am I the asshole for calling my friend an idiot for wanting a maternity test? We've both seen her in person and she's definitely pregnant. However, Dan believes that the baby might not be hers. I tried to explain to him that that's not how biology works, and unless she got an embryo implanted, that's definitely the mother. And also, she works as a waitress. I doubt she has the money to afford that. It's ridiculous to think she'd do all that just to trap a guy who's unemployed and living with his parents at 32. Plus, he's never donated sperm. He's still genuinely convinced there's a possibility even after talking to me, family, and friends. I ended up calling him a senseless idiot. Now him and some friends are saying I'm insensitive.
My cousin, 33 female, who I'll call Mary, lost her husband, 32 male, and 2 of her 3 children, 3 female and 9-month-old male, in a car accident last week. Her and her daughter, 5, are as you would expect, and it's just heartbreaking. Well, today was the funeral, and my brother's wife announced her pregnancy the second they arrived at our house this morning, and we were like, okay, congratulations, but please keep it on the down low for today. Well, when we arrived at the church, she kept making gagging sounds and rubbing her stomach, saying, I, as a mom, can't imagine what she's going through. They have no kids, so people would look at her and she'd tell them she was pregnant. Afterwards, at my aunt's house, my sister-in-law kept making everything about her. Like, someone was in the bathroom and my sister-in-law would loudly say, pregnant lady needs to pee. She literally told my cousin to give her her seat so the lady with the baby could rest her feet. I ignored her until she came to Mary, stuck out her flat belly and said, me and Isaac just found out I was pregnant, and honestly, we are beside ourselves. It could happen to us. Mary broke down crying. I snapped. Who says that to a woman who just literally lost 2 babies? I said loudly to my sister-in-law, no one gives an F you're pregnant. Look around. It's not just 1, but 2 babies' funerals, not to mention the love of Mary's life. Like, I knew you were an attention seeker, but for fuck's sake, you took the test 4 days ago. Just leave. Good for you. My fiancé and I have been together for 6 years and engaged for 3. We decided to wait until I finished with my PhD program for us to get married. I picked a beautiful wedding hall that I was on the waiting list for 3 years to get into. My older sister also got engaged and is planning her wedding 6 months after mine. At our family dinner, she recently revealed that she's pregnant. My sister recently revealed that she was expecting and was going to push her wedding date forward. And she put me on the spot at the table and said, I was really hoping we could take your venue. I really cannot stress myself too much with planning a wedding while going to maternity classes. And I think it's so beautiful and it would really mean a lot to me. I guess everyone is expecting me to say yes, anything for my little sister. And when I looked at her, I had said, I don't know. I have my heart really set on this venue. She started crying and she stormed out of the room.
Am I the asshole for not letting my ex pick up our daughter a day early so she can see her dog before it's put down? I, 29 female, have a 9-year-old daughter, Claire, with my ex-husband, Brian. Brian has Claire Wednesday through Saturday and I have her Sunday through Tuesday. When we were together, shortly after Claire was born, Brian got a dog. This dog was not young then, probably 6 or 7, and now must be ancient. Claire loves this dog and I've tried to indulge that as much as possible. On days that I have Claire, Brian will call her with the dog, which I think is extreme, but to each their own. He contacted me saying he has to put the dog down tomorrow and asked if he could pick up Claire a day early so she could say goodbye, and I said I didn't want to do that. Am I the asshole for hiring security for my wedding? I, 25 female, am getting married to my fiance, 26 male, next spring. My father's girlfriend and her 2 children, whom I've known since I was 9 years old, are not invited. My stepmother would steal my belongings, try to get me diagnosed with disorders I didn't have, and go into rages. When I was 16, I left my dad's house and cut off all contact with them for years. When my fiance proposed, it struck me that I'd have nobody to walk me down the aisle. I reconnected with my father and began repairing my relationship with him. His girlfriend and her kids were still in the picture, so I was polite to them but only tried to come when they weren't around. Well, my stepmother walked in on me and my father while we were going over wedding plans, and she mentioned that she hadn't got an invite yet.
I, 24 female, and my fiance, 24 male, have been together since our sophomore year of college, so around 5 years now. For context, my mom had an affair with a coworker when I was 16, leading to my parents' divorce. She has been single ever since. Sadly, my fiance's mom passed 2 years ago due to cancer, and his dad has been single since. My fiance proposed last year, but our wedding was delayed due to COVID. 3 months ago, in January 2021, we decided it was time to have our families meet for the first time to discuss our upcoming wedding. This went well. This morning, out of the blue, my mom called me and announced that she had eloped. I was shocked as she had not been dating anyone to my knowledge. Upon questioning, it turns out that she and my fiance's dad had been dating in secret since that meeting in January and had married in secret yesterday, making my fiance my stepbrother.
My fiance and I are getting married in October, and while getting ready to send our invitations out, my future mother-in-law saw that I had a note stating that no children under 14 are allowed to attend the ceremony and the reception. There is also a note stating that if they need accommodations for a babysitter to let me know, because I'm hiring my usual babysitter for my reception and she's able to take on up to about 6 kids. My mother-in-law asked what I'm going to do about my daughter when I said she's going to be in the ceremony as the flower girl because she is 5. And then after the ceremony, she's going to be with her babysitter. My mother-in-law asked if I thought it was going to be unfair, and that if I'm absolutely saying no children under 14, then my child who is under 14 shouldn't be allowed to go either. Well, of course.
I hadn't sent her an invitation because I didn't want her to come, nor her kids. None of them apologized or even acknowledged my childhood except my dad. I tried to give her the chance to, but she got very sulky with me and stormed off. I'm assuming so she could whine about me to her friends on Facebook like she would do when I was a kid. A couple weeks ago, she sent me a message that said, "Can't wait to see you on your big day." I called a friend from school who just started his own security company and offered him his first ever contract, my wedding. He thanked me for the contract on Facebook and tagged me. My family saw it and said security would bring down the mood. My dad's side thinks I'm psycho, paranoid, etc. because you don't need a whole security team to keep out one lady.
Very apologetic and offered to help however I could with the proposal on any other day, but he was very clearly not happy with me. I haven't heard from my maid of honor since the wedding, which is probably the longest we've ever gone without talking. I had tried several times to get in touch with her and let her know at one point that I had something of hers she had lost at the wedding. Never got a response. I texted the other day saying I was going to drop the lost item off at her house so she'd have it, and she finally responded. Apparently, during the after party at the hotel bar, my maid of honor's boyfriend got very drunk and told her that she would have been engaged that night if I hadn't ruined his plan. She says she isn't exactly mad at me, but she feels like her future engagement is ruined and that I denied her a chance at happiness. Whoa. Am I wrong for rejecting someone's request to propose at my wedding? My husband and I got married last month and had a small and wonderful wedding. 2 weeks before the wedding, my best friend / maid of honor's boyfriend asked if it would be okay to propose during my reception. I first told him how thrilled I was that he was going to propose to my best friend and how excited she would be, but I really wasn't comfortable with him proposing during the wedding, at least as a public thing. He seemed totally shocked that I said no, which I can understand. planned. He said that weddings are supposed to be about celebrating love and that as her best friend, I should want them to finally be engaged after 11 years together. I absolutely want that for them, but I just didn't understand why it needed to happen during the 5.5-hour window of my ceremony/cocktail hour/reception. Am I wrong for refusing to pay my sister's bill and giving her information to the restaurant after she ditched me? This happened last night. My sister and her boyfriend recently moved to a town next to mine. I was excited as we'll be able to see more of each other now. Nearby, there's a downtown center that has a lot of shopping, restaurants, galleries, etc. There is one upscale restaurant that both my husband and I love. A dinner for two will run you about $200 to $250, so it's not a place we frequently go to. My sister called me last week and invited us out to dinner. With them at the restaurant last night. I reminded her it was an upscale place and to take a look at the menu beforehand because they are pricey and we can go somewhere else, tons of other great places to choose from. She said they still wanted to go. We hadn't been there in a while, so we accepted. Dinner was great. At the end of the meal, my sister excuses herself to the bathroom, and when she doesn't come back relatively soon, her boyfriend goes to find her. After a while, neither of them comes back. We go to check for them and they are gone. Texted again, asking if she really just stuck us with the bill and no response. I then texted that I never agreed to pay for them and that she had 30 minutes to come back to the restaurant, or I'll give the restaurant all her information and they will likely involve the police. No response. At the 30-minute mark, I called and texted and got no response. So I stayed true to my word. I paid for mine and my husband's portion and gave all her information to the manager for their portion and then left. The next day, she called me back upset that she's been getting calls from the restaurant asking her to come pay or they'll contact the police. No shit, Sherlock. I said I'm not surprised.
Am I the asshole for refusing to buy my stepdaughter a car like my daughter's? I have a 16-year-old daughter, and about 7 years ago, her dad and I divorced because he found out he was gay. Him being the only breadwinner and me being a housewife, he preferred to let us live in our house. He continued paying all our expenses and giving me money to maintain my lifestyle. 2 years later, I met my current husband, and a year later, we married. He moved in with me and my daughter, and him and my ex are great friends. Also, as a wedding gift, he even gave me his half of the house. Now I own it in full. My husband has a daughter with his ex, so she lives with us half the time. The issue is that my ex pays for our daughter to go to an expensive school, buys her expensive gifts, and for her birthday bought her a $60,000 car. My daughter and her stepsister don't have the best relationship, mainly because my husband's ex hoped they would get back together and kept poisoning her. My daughter would share stuff with her until she kept ruining them on purpose. That was when my husband made a rule that they can't borrow from each other, and I stay out of it because she refuses to see me as a parent. My husband has a good job, but nothing close to what my ex earns, and since we decided the house is enough for my ex, our income is just what he earns. My stepdaughter's 16th birthday is coming up, and she asked for the same car that my ex gave my daughter. We refused, and she threatened my husband that she'd never talk to him again if she didn't get it.
My 31 female friend, 30 female, we'll call Mary, got married last week and I was in her bridal party. For context, we are friends from high school, and all of the other bridesmaids were her friends from college, who I hadn't met until her bachelorette party several months ago. I was supposed to attend the wedding with my own fiancé, but he contracted COVID 5 days before we were supposed to leave and made the choice to stay home for everyone's safety. I tested negative and we don't live together. Our 5th anniversary of our first date was 2 months ago, and he got me a beautiful opal necklace on a gold chain, specifically to wear to the wedding because it complemented my bridesmaid's dress. I asked Mary in our bridal group chat if she was all right with us wearing our own jewelry to the wedding. She said no problem. Day of the wedding comes, all of us bridesmaids and Mary meet early in the morning for pictures outside the chapel. Mary sees my necklace and loves it, and actually asked if she could switch her necklace with mine. Some other bridesmaids chime in and say that it would be her something borrowed. I tried as
Does anyone else's mom eat like a handful of nuts and a cutie? And she's like, yeah, I'm finished. I'm done for the day. It's like 4 p.m. and I'm like, can we have lunch? And she's like, you're not stuffed from that clementine? No, Mom, I need a real meal.
What's something that you can eat every single day and not get tired of? And I'm not talking about something that you eat sometimes that you just love. Like, I'm talking about something that you're disgustingly obsessed with and that you could actually eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner and never get sick of and never want anything else to eat except for this exact item. I want to see videos of you eating this food. I want to see pictures of this food.
Mary then said if I could at least take it off, since it looked nicer than her own jewelry. Again, I told her I'd rather not. I'd like to share the wedding photos of myself in the necklace with my fiancé. She was not happy. Neither of the bridesmaids were either. I received a lot of cold shoulders and dirty looks.
Tell me the biggest lie an adult has ever told you.
Remember when teachers used to be like, you're not just going to have a calculator in your pocket in the real world? Joke's on you, Miss Mendoza.
Please clarify if I'm supposed to be using the third emoji down or the third emoji over whenever there's a post that's like, your third emoji is going to be a reaction to this. Like, I don't know which one to friggin' use. I can either give you a laughing face emoji or an eye roll emoji. They're both third on the list. I just don't know which list to